The 2026 FIFA World Cup is finally here, and what a way to start the tournament. The opening match had everything a football fan could ask for: goals, red cards, controversy, emotion, and a story that reminded everyone why the World Cup is so special. Before talking about the game itself, there was one moment that stood above everything else. It was the story of Raul Jimenez. A few years ago in 2020, Jimenez suffered a terrible head injury during a club match. The injury was so serious that many people questioned whether he would ever play football again. Some even believed his professional career might be over. But Jimenez refused to quit. After months of recovery, he returned to the field wearing protective headgear. Every time he stepped onto the pitch, it was a reminder of how much he had fought just to keep playing the sport he loved. Then life became even more difficult. Not long ago, he also experienced the heartbreaking loss of his father. For many people, those challenges would have been overwhelming, yet Jimenez kept moving forward. And now, here he was on football's biggest stage, the FIFA World Cup, representing Mexico. Then came the moment nobody in Mexico will forget. A perfect cross came into the box, and Jimenez rose to meet it with a powerful header. The ball found the back of the net, and suddenly the stadium exploded with celebration. But what made the moment truly special was his reaction. You could see the emotion on his face immediately. He wasn't just celebrating a goal. He was celebrating years of struggle, recovery, sacrifice, and perseverance. The tears said everything. This is exactly why people fall in love with the World Cup. It's not only about tactics, statistics, or trophies. It's about real human stories. It's about players overcoming obstacles and creating moments that inspire millions around the world. Jimenez's goal felt bigger than football. It was proof that setbacks don't always define your future. While that emotional moment became the highlight of the night, Mexico also delivered an impressive performance on the field. The final score may not fully show how comfortable they looked throughout most of the match. Mexico controlled possession, created better chances, and looked organized from start to finish. South Africa, on the other hand, struggled to get into the game. Many fans expected a more competitive performance, but Mexico appeared sharper in almost every area. Their passing was cleaner, their movement was better, and they looked far more dangerous whenever they attacked. However, if there was one thing that kept the match from becoming completely one-sided, it was the chaos. And there was plenty of it. The referee had a busy night, with cards being handed out throughout the match. Tensions continued to rise as players became more frustrated, leading to several heated moments. The most shocking incident involved a South African substitute who had only been on the field for a short time before completely losing his composure. Instead of helping his team make a comeback, he got involved in an unnecessary confrontation that resulted in a straight red card. Imagine waiting years for a chance to play in the World Cup, finally stepping onto the field, and then getting sent off almost immediately. Not exactly the dream scenario. By the end of the night, multiple players had been shown red cards, making it one of the wildest opening matches in recent World Cup history. That statistic becomes even more surprising when you remember that the entire 2022 World Cup produced only a handful of red cards across all 64 matches. Yet this tournament's very first game already delivered several. If this is how the competition starts, fans can only imagine what the next few weeks will bring. Between Raul Jimenez's emotional goal, Mexico's dominant performance, and the nonstop drama on the field, the 2026 FIFA World Cup could hardly have asked for a more memorable opening night. And the best part? This was only the beginning. As emotional as Raul Jimenez's goal was, Mexico's victory was not just about one player. Several members of the squad stepped up and showed why many fans believe Mexico can be a dangerous team in this World Cup. One of the biggest stars of the match was Julian Quinones. From the opening whistle, he looked confident every time he touched the ball. His movement created problems for South Africa's defense, and his technical quality stood out immediately. The most important moment came when he scored the tournament's first goal. That goal will forever be part of World Cup history. Years from now, when people look back at the 2026 tournament, they will remember that Julian Quinones was the first player to put his name on the score sheet, but his contribution went beyond just scoring. Every time Mexico attacked, Quinones seemed involved. He combined well with teammates, found dangerous spaces, and constantly forced defenders into difficult situations. It was the kind of performance that gives a team confidence moving forward. Mexico also received a strong performance from their midfield. With regular starter Edson Alvarez unavailable, many people wondered who would step up and take responsibility in the center of the field. The answer was clear. Eric Lira delivered an excellent display. He protected the defense, won important challenges, and helped Mexico control the pace of the game. His work may not grab headlines like a goal scorer's performance, but players like Lira are often the reason teams win matches. Then there was Mexico's defensive partnership. Johan Vazquez and Cesar Montes looked solid for most of the night. Whenever South Africa tried to create attacks, the two center backs were usually in the right position. They cleared danger, stayed organized, and gave very little space to opposing forwards. For large portions of the game, South Africa simply could not find a way through. Unfortunately, one of the biggest talking points of the match involved Cesar Montes. Late in the game, a challenge from Montes led to a red card decision that immediately sparked debate among fans and analysts. The referee believed Montes had denied a clear goal-scoring opportunity and sent him off, but many viewers disagreed. When the replay was shown, it appeared that the attacking player was moving away from the center of goal rather than directly toward it. There were also questions about whether Montes was actually the last defender. Because of those factors, many felt a yellow card would have been the fairer decision. The debate quickly spread across social media. Some argued the referee followed the rules exactly as written. Others believed the situation did not meet the standard required for a straight red card. Regardless of which side fans supported, one thing was certain. Mexico now faces the possibility of playing future matches without one of its most important defenders. And that could become a major issue. The group stage is far from over, and every match matters. Losing a key defender because of suspension can create serious problems, especially against stronger opponents later in the tournament. Even with the controversy, Mexico remained the better team overall. Their organization, energy, and attacking quality were simply too much for South Africa to handle. South Africa had moments where they looked ready to fight back, but those moments were rare. Too often, their attacks broke down before reaching dangerous areas. Passes were misplaced, opportunities disappeared, and frustration started to build. That frustration eventually contributed to the cards and confrontations that dominated headlines after the final whistle. Still, for Mexico, the night ended exactly how they wanted. 3 points secured, a clean and confident performance, an unforgettable goal from Raul Jimenez, and a place at the top of the group standings. Of course, the football itself wasn't the only thing people were discussing. Before the match even began, fans around the world were already debating another major topic, the World Cup opening ceremony, and opinions were definitely mixed. Before the players even stepped onto the field, millions of fans around the world were watching the opening ceremony. As always, expectations were extremely high. After all, this is the FIFA World Cup. People expect a show that feels grand, exciting, and unforgettable. There were definitely some entertaining moments. Big music performances, famous artists, bright lights, and energetic crowds helped create a festive atmosphere inside the stadium. Some performances received strong reactions from fans, especially when globally recognized stars appeared on stage. Those moments brought excitement and reminded everyone that the World Cup is not just a football tournament, it's also a worldwide celebration. However, not everything worked perfectly. One issue many viewers noticed was the pacing of the ceremony. At certain points, it felt like the momentum stopped and started again. Just when it seemed the show was building excitement for kickoff, there would be another pause or transition that slowed things down. Because of that, some fans felt the energy dropped before the match began. A lot of people compared it to previous World Cup opening ceremonies. Many still remember the impressive production from earlier tournaments, where the presentations felt larger, smoother, and more dramatic. Those ceremonies created an immediate feeling that something historic was about to begin. This year's version had some great moments, but for many viewers, it didn't quite reach that same level. Fortunately, once the match started, attention quickly shifted back to football. And one thing that received plenty of praise was the stadium itself. The venue looked fantastic. From the television broadcast, the stadium appeared packed with passionate supporters. Fans wearing team colors filled the stands, waving flags and creating an atmosphere worthy of football's biggest tournament. The energy from the crowd could be felt throughout the match. Every attack, every tackle, and every goal generated huge reactions. This is exactly what people want from a World Cup. The stadium felt alive. The pitch also looked excellent. Good playing surfaces are extremely important in major tournaments because they allow players to perform at their highest level. Fortunately, the field conditions appeared outstanding, helping both teams move the ball smoothly and play attacking football. Another area where FIFA received positive feedback was the broadcast presentation. Many fans noticed the updated graphics package immediately. The scoreboards looked modern and colorful. Team flags were displayed clearly, making it easy for viewers to follow the action. The visual design felt fresh, while still maintaining a classic World Cup feel. Even small details received attention. When team lineups were shown before the match, the presentation combined old-school football graphics with modern technology. Viewers could see player information, visuals, and statistics in a clean and easy-to-understand format. For longtime football fans, it created a nice balance between nostalgia and innovation. The broadcast also made it easier for casual viewers to learn about players they might not know. That's important during a World Cup because many fans watch teams they don't normally follow throughout the year. One feature that sparked discussion was the hydration breaks. Twice during the match, play stopped briefly to allow players to drink water and recover. Some fans were surprised by these breaks, but there is a practical reason behind them. The 2026 World Cup is being hosted across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Certain host cities can experience warm temperatures, especially during summer afternoons. Even when conditions don't seem extreme, football players cover huge distances during matches while constantly sprinting, pressing, and changing direction. Because of that physical demand, hydration becomes extremely important. Most coaches and medical staff support these breaks because they help protect player health and reduce the risk of heat-related problems. While some traditional fans prefer uninterrupted play, player safety remains the priority. And honestly, a short water break is a small price to pay if it helps athletes perform at their best throughout the tournament. As the night continued, excitement around the World Cup kept growing. Fans were already discussing the next matches, analyzing group standings, debating referee decisions, and sharing clips of Raul Jimenez's emotional goal. But while Mexico celebrated their opening victory, another match was about to grab everyone's attention. The clash between South Korea and Czechia delivered drama of its own, and it introduced one of the tournament's most impressive individual performances so far. After the excitement of Mexico's victory, fans quickly turned their attention to the second match of the day, South Korea versus Czechia. And what a game it turned out to be. Anyone who thought the World Cup atmosphere was missing got their answer immediately. Around the world, fans woke up early, adjusted their schedules, and made time to watch the action. That's the magic of the World Cup. It doesn't matter whether it's a final or a group stage match. Football supporters know these moments only come around once every 4 years, and they don't want to miss them. South Korea and Czechia may not have been the biggest headline matchup before the tournament started, but they delivered a match that was entertaining from start to finish. From the opening minutes, South Korea looked organized and confident. Their formation allowed them to move the ball quickly, create space in midfield, and keep pressure on Czechia's defense. While several players contributed, one name stood above everyone else: Kang-in Lee. If you watched this match, you immediately understood why so many people are excited about his future. He seemed to be everywhere on the field. One moment he was helping build attacks from deep positions. The next moment he was dribbling past defenders and creating opportunities near the penalty area. His influence on the game was impossible to ignore. Every time South Korea moved forward, Lee played a major role. He controlled possession, connected passes, and constantly looked for creative solutions. While comparing players is always difficult, his role in the team was similar to what many elite playmakers do for their national sides. He wasn't just participating in attacks, he was directing them. His performance showed maturity, intelligence, and confidence. If he continues playing at this level throughout the tournament, bigger opportunities could easily come his way in club football. However, despite South Korea controlling much of the game, there was one problem. They weren't finishing their chances. Several opportunities came and went without finding the back of the net. Even Son Heung-min, the team's biggest star, had moments where fans expected him to score. He found himself in dangerous positions but couldn't convert the chances that normally would have been goals. For many coaches, this situation creates a difficult decision. Do you leave your superstar on the field and hope he produces a moment of magic? Or do you make a bold substitution? South Korea's coach chose the second option. With roughly 20 minutes remaining, he made a surprising decision and took Son off the field. Many fans were shocked. After all, Son is one of the most recognizable players in Asian football history. Substituting him in such an important match takes courage. But the coach trusted his instincts. Instead of focusing on reputation, he focused on what the game needed. Fresh legs, more energy, a different attacking approach, and that decision ended up changing everything. The substitute entered with determination and immediately brought new life to the attack. South Korea continued creating chances, and eventually the breakthrough arrived. The winning goal sent the South Korean supporters into celebration. It was a perfect example of why football is a team sport. Sometimes the biggest hero isn't the superstar everyone expects. Sometimes it's the player who comes off the bench and takes advantage of the opportunity. That goal rewarded South Korea for their persistence throughout the match. They never stopped attacking, they never stopped believing, and in the end, they earned the result they deserved. Czechia certainly had their moments. They defended bravely and remained competitive for long stretches. They also managed to score and created some dangerous situations from set pieces. In fact, there was another goal that looked promising before it was eventually ruled out for offside. Those moments kept the match close and exciting until the final whistle, but overall, South Korea simply looked like the stronger team. They controlled possession better. They created more quality chances. They attacked with greater confidence, and most importantly, they found a way to win. When the final statistics were reviewed, the numbers supported what fans had seen throughout the game. South Korea generated more attacking opportunities, spent more time in dangerous areas, and consistently pressured Czechia's defense. The result reflected their performance. By the end of the day, the Group A standings were beginning to take shape. Mexico sat near the top after their convincing victory. South Korea followed closely behind after earning 3 important points. Czechia remained within reach, but would need strong performances in the upcoming matches. And South Africa faced an uphill battle after a difficult opening game. Still, one thing was already becoming clear. The 2026 FIFA World Cup had started exactly the way football fans hoped it would. Drama, emotion, goals, controversy, surprises, and unforgettable stories. With so many matches still ahead, this was only the beginning of what promises to be an incredible tournament. If there was one clear takeaway from these opening matches of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, it's this. This tournament is going to be anything but normal. From the very first whistle, the competition delivered chaos, emotion, and moments that fans will be talking about for a long time. Mexico's opening win set the tone. It wasn't just a simple victory, it was a match filled with storylines. A comeback journey like Raul Jimenez scoring after everything he has gone through, a team performance full of control and confidence, and a match that had everything from goals to red cards. That combination is exactly what makes World Cup football so special. Because even when a game looks straightforward on paper, it never truly is. Every tackle matters, every decision matters, and every moment can change everything. Mexico walked away with 3 points, but more importantly, they looked like a team ready for bigger challenges ahead. Their attack showed quality, their midfield stayed balanced, and their defense held strong even with the chaos around them. But they also left with questions, especially around discipline and availability in future matches. That's the reality of tournament football. One mistake can affect the entire journey. Then came South Korea versus Czechia, a match that showed a completely different style of football drama. Instead of chaos and red cards dominating the story, this game was about control, patience, and tactical decisions. South Korea showed structure, discipline, and smart attacking play, and at the heart of everything was Kang-in Lee. His performance stood out because it wasn't just about highlights or flashy moments. It was about constant involvement, smart movement, and the ability to control the rhythm of the game. Players like him don't always get the loudest applause, but they often shape the outcome of matches. Then there was the bold coaching decision to remove Son Heung-min. A move like that can easily backfire, especially when dealing with a world-class player. But in this case, it showed trust in the system and belief in the squad. And it worked. The substitute made an impact, the team found its rhythm again, and South Korea secured a crucial win. That's tournament football at its core, adjusting, reacting, and making decisions that can change everything in seconds. Czechia, meanwhile, showed resilience but struggled to maintain consistency in attack. They had moments, they created chances, and they even threatened through set pieces, but they couldn't sustain pressure long enough to turn the game in their favor. As the final whistle blew on both matches, the group standings began to take shape, but nothing is decided yet. That's what makes the World Cup exciting at this stage. A single win can change momentum. A single loss can create pressure, and suddenly every upcoming match becomes a must-win situation. Beyond tactics and results, what truly stands out from these opening games is the emotion. A player returning from serious injury and scoring on the biggest stage. A team fighting through chaos and discipline issues to secure victory. A young star stepping up and controlling games with confidence. A coach making brave decisions that change the outcome. These are the moments fans remember long after the tournament ends. Not just the scorelines, not just the tables, but the stories behind them. As the 2026 FIFA World Cup continues, one thing is certain. This is only the beginning. More drama is coming, more surprises are coming, and more unforgettable football moments are waiting just around the corner. Because in the World Cup, nothing stays predictable for long, and that's exactly why the world keeps watching.